Today's video is about Shyam Batra, a former London mayoral candidate, and his controversial take on the state of the UK.
And boom, we're on. And today's guest, we've got Shyam Batra. Shyam, how are we?
Nice to meet you, James.
Good to see you, brother.
And you. Long due.
Yeah.
Long overdue.
Yeah.
You're a busy boy.
Yeah, I'm busy. You were on my good friend Liam Tuss podcast.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
You ran for Mayor 2024, London. Speaking about 15-minute cities, which for me is all part of the control. You're also a believer in UFOs, aliens.
He's told you?
Yeah, listen, this is what it's all about. I'm open to it all. I don't judge. I'm just here to listen to how people see the world, how they view it, what they've understood of it, and what they've not understood of it. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Good. Tired, running around everywhere, you know, show after show. I've got 3 more next week.
Yes,
Oh,
that's what
lined
it's all about. But you ran for London Mayor 2024. London's a
Yeah.
bit of it's probably the most dangerous place in the UK, if not Europe. Knife crime through the roof, taxes through the roof. The UK's council tax is the highest in Europe. Like, there's so much in the UK. Sadiq Khan, who's been running for nearly 10 years. But before we get into all that stuff, all the political side of things, I always like to go back to the start of my guests, get more of a bit of understanding about you, where you grew up and how it all began.
I've got a very interesting story, good and bad, I suppose, as it is. You probably like the rough and the smooth. But I mean, I was born in the UK in Hillingdon, so British as I can be. I mean, one guy did say to me, "This is England, go back to your country." I told Liam about that one. That was a good one. But I mean, I started off, my dad was very high up in the Indian government, and when they moved to the UK, I was born here. And so I started my career in a hedge fund house, and I had an opportunity. I did my stuff, and I bought a house and a car in 3 months, and it was really cool.
Batra, who announced his campaign in January 2024, described himself as a common-sense man from Uxbridge and promised to abolish the ultra-low emission zone, cut train fares, scrap congestion charges, and tackle the housing and cost of living crisis.
I mean, I tell this story to people, so it's like an incentive and motivation that you can do anything you want to do in this life. There's nothing to stop you. But I always like to go to the top of the tree. I don't like to be hovering here. Oh, I tried, but I'll do it again. But the mayor thing really upset me, but I'll explain that to you later. So I went into this hedge fund, and I did really, really well. In about 9 months, I made more than enough money to buy a house and a car and stuff. I got accosted by somebody to say, "Why don't you go and sell life insurance?" And I thought, that's interesting, life insurance. Why not? Why don't we do life insurance? So I left what I was doing. And in those days, it was like The Big Short, you know. "John, have you got 15 grand? Give me that money. I'll make it 20 in the afternoon." It was all by phone. There was no telephones, nothing, right? Yeah, and those days were true. They were good because you could start in the morning, in the afternoon. You've now just made like 100 grand for the company, just like that. And people were investing and investing and investing, because money has always been a difficult game, because the banks, as you know, they're not real. We can say that. The buildings are the same. They're the same. They never have any money. It's just all borrowed money. And when you get that money, they go and get a loan, and you get a loan. It's not even real. They're just digital numbers, if that's what you want to call it. So from there, I went to do this insurance thing. I really liked it, and I stayed there 15 years. Abbey Life, I don't know if you remember Abbey Life, do you? It was a big company, and I reached to the top. And in those days, they had some things like these motivational places, like $1 Million Round Tables. So that meant that you joined this club, and you would go to the US and do your speeches and stuff of how you made it. And there was like top of the table and quarter of the table, meaning there was the top 8 people in the world who were the best sellers of life insurance. And then there was 4, and I was one of them for 3 times a year. And I met this Japanese woman. She could not speak a word of English. She was making like $5 to $10 million a year selling life insurance. And she was like 50, 60 years old in those days. And she just made an absolute fortune. She went and bought planes and all types of stuff. And that just motivated me even more. And I thought, if she can do it, I can do it. Because if you can do something, everyone can do the same. People are just sometimes blinded. Oh, I can't take a risk. Oh, but I got my job at 50 grand a year. I'm doing okay. But doing okay is fine. But that's why there's no sky on top of your head. It's up in the stars. You can do what you like.
However, his credibility was questioned after reports revealed he was barred from being a company director until 2028 due to past misconduct, and his claims about aliens in communities drew further scrutiny.
But it's hard to tap into it with so much noise around you. Everybody's full of static, everybody's stuck in the cement, so it's hard to then believe in yourself when you're surrounded by madness.
You must believe in yourself. I encourage women and kids to believe, have confidence. The word is confidence. Everybody needs that type of breathing space. Breathing space is confidence. You must be able to do whatever you want to do. You can do it. Because if you believe in it, you dream it, you can achieve it. You can conceive it and achieve it.
Did you have a big family?
No, I was the only child, unfortunately. My parents passed away quite young when I was young. And
sorry to hear that.
Yeah, and it was a difficult life I started. I mean, I started off okay, but I could have done with siblings. I could have done with a lot of things. And then you had uncles and aunties who wanted to steal things from you because my dad was very high up in the government. My father passed first, and then my mother passed afterwards. But it was tough because I needed, even though my dad gave me huge grounding as a young child.
Although he didn't make it to the final ballot in the May 2024 election, his short-lived candidacy reflected the frustrations of many Londoners struggling with rising costs, transport challenges, and distrust of mainstream politics.
Why do people keep voting then? Why do they think
Because
that people's a saviour and this is going to change? Nothing changed. Look what Donald Trump has says. Look what Biden says, Obama, Tony Blair, Bush. Nothing changes. It's all war. It's all corruption.
You know
it's
why?
All pain.
They don't want to change the system.
Of course, but why do people vote then? Because people are so naive and they want to be led by someone because they look for a saviour, or do people genuinely think, okay, it's going to change this time? Nothing changes. Tax rise, property prices rise, wages go down, the cost of living rises. It's just all corrupt. It's all. But then it puzzles me why human beings are so caught up in it when really you should just go on with your life and try and make the most of it, because these people do not give two fucks about you. And if you can't see that with Boris Johnson putting everyone in lockdown, but they're all having Christmas parties.
Fun. He was sitting in the hospital bed laughing his head off and people think he's dying. I mean, how sick can you be? This man should never, ever come back into politics. He should never be allowed what he did with COVID and the people that under their watch they killed, him and that other guy, Matt, whatever his name is. That's what was his name? The one that's fighting with Andrew Bridgen.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories like this, and let me know in the comments what you think about outsider candidates like Batra.